Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me here again today and thinking of more topics to chat about. We were talking about the Pink Floyd rehearsals. I mentioned to you how it's hard to do the tour, and then we rehearsed at a hangar at the Toronto International Airport of Air Canada. It's a huge place. Give you an idea of the size outside the building. Well, there's two buildings side by side, these hangars, and the one across from ours would have their doors open every once in a while, and we could see in there. And there was a 747 and a 727 parked side by side. Now, if you think about that, that's pretty big space. And that was what was chosen for us to rehearse in. So it was quite interesting overall to start building this tour together in that sort of a place. It was 6 stories high. The reverb time, I'm guessing between 6 and 7 seconds. The longest I think I've ever heard in a venue, if you want to call it a venue. Nonetheless, it was horrific. The production team did a great job as we started our 6-week rehearsal period in there of hanging some drapes around the room in strategic locations that help dampen the reverb time. Brought it down to about, I think, between 3 and 4 seconds, which is still a lot to deal with. I figured many times, well, if we learn to make this sound good, as far as rehearsals are concerned, if we made this sound good, well, geez, nothing would be a problem hereafter. So quite a nice place. It was very interesting to go up on the 6th floor of the hangar and look back down, and you could take a picture, although I don't have any to share with you at the time, but looking back down at the entire set from 6 stories up. It's quite interesting. And there we started putting the equipment together. I started laying out how I wanted to align the consoles. By the input charts, we knew that there would be 136 inputs, and that's what we could shave it down to, was 136 inputs. Now, we had 3 40 input consoles. At that time, one was a Midas, and with a Midas expander, a 16-channel expander. So there are 40 channels in that 16-input expander, handled the drums. That was 56 inputs of drums only. And I had Larry Wallace work on that and deliver a mix that came over into my console. The other 40 put in console, and that would blend all the audio together from these different sources. Also, Bobby Hickey helped run that console for a period of the tour, and I would have signs with them. I'd pretty much let them do the sound check and get the lines sounding pretty good of the drum mics, and then I would from that point maybe offer some suggestions and let them handle that. We did a lot of different things on the drums in the kit that Gary Wallace played through in the percussion kit, but it was quite a setup, in as much as that trying to establish a balance between all of these mini drums and them carrying their weight, which I think we did. We accomplished that. Is very smooth. My console sat in the middle. Now there's another console to the right of me, and that was all reverbs, delay lines, and tape returns. There was a couple of tape returns that played sound effects back through the surround sound system. And at that surround sound system, I'll tell you about how that was designed and how we came up with that. But the console was to my right. So, I was trying to figure out how to lay out all these consoles so it'd be convenient and easy to do, and very productive in time. And we'll come up on a good solution from the beginning. Now, I thought even at the first time I laid these out, I should have you a graphic of that, and I'll try my best to do that and impose it on this video. When the console in the middle that I had was the return of the drum console, the 56 inputs from drums, and then the 2-channel out of the other console, 40 input console with reverbs. Now, Dave handled that. Dave handled that, and he would know the presets that we would want on delay times, echo times, reverb times per song. And so basically all I'd have to do is turn on the send on that particular module, and the reverb would be the character that Dave would set up and get done. That worked out very well. We could not, going into a console of that size, and some reverbs were only used in one song, or some reverbs were only used on the toms, for instance, just a little bit of ambience on the toms. So they'd only be having one song. So I just felt it required a large number of signal processing to cover that. So there we go. We were doing that, and these two would blend into my console, and then I would blend all that together to go to the PA, which was a 5-channel system. Not your standard 5.1. It was 5.1. I called it, to me, it would be Floyd .1. And it was a little different configuration. So on the graphic, we're going to show you how that was laid out and how I made that work. And it was something that was very interesting and very effective. I was surprised. I'd used a surround sound system with David Bowie in 1976, I believe it was, and I decided at that time that the surrounds can't be used typically like you would hear them on a television and hear movies and things being played back that were mixed in surround sound. And in those cases, there's almost always some content going to those surround channels. I found out that to use them live and to make them exciting and not redundant is that they would only come on at certain time periods. There's only some taped effects that would be played, sound effects that would be played, and then there was also sometimes that I could take devices and spread the mix back momentarily, just in a course of a song, just in the intro, what have you. I think that's the thing with surround sound, if you do use it, and if you do, and I don't understand that myself, but anyway, I hear from behind me. I see no reason to not do that in a live situation to enhance the experience of that show. Now, we got tremendous reviews and comments about the surround sound system, and I don't think I can remember any negativity unless you were sitting near one of these stacks of PAs laid out, that it might be a little disruptive if you were sitting by it and big boom came out of it or something. And then, of course, it's out of time to everything else. That's another reason we can't leave content in there. Certainly don't want a, but other than that, it just come fairly simple to me to how to place the instrument. So basically what amounted to the stereo mix of the entire system was always happening in the main stacks and left and right. So we had a left quad, right quad in the stadium bleachers, all the way up, and then rear quad. So that plus the stereo front's 5 points, and that's what I call the Floyd .1, and then the sub bass send. So it was very flexible in using it, as I mentioned earlier, for effects. For instance, I'll give you a for instance, David Gilmour's solo on whatever song I chose, especially Comfortably Numb. It worked out tremendously well. So as he's just doing this amazing solo in the front left and front right, I could add a little bit of echo and put that echo in the rear channels. And what would happen, you'd hear the source of the guitar in front of you and it kind of echo behind you. It was, wow. One of those things, you had to be there. You had to be there to hear it. That effect was, without question, the best at the focal point where I'm mixing from. Now, if you go to other areas, it's not that it was diminished or now this is interruptive of the sound because of time delay. It still carried its weight from side to side, and it's balanced quite well to emphasize some effects. Another thing that I was using that 5.1 Floyd .1 system for, I had, in fact, David and I discussed this, and he brought up the idea of taking two SPX 90s. Those of you guys that's been in it a long time, you know what I'm talking about, the Yamaha SPX 90. That was one of the first notable cool processors to do delays and chorusing and all sorts of stuff. And so we were talking about taking two units in this system that I just described to you, 5.1, and assign one unit that pans left to right. As I sit looking at the stage, one unit is just in a pan, an auto pan mode. And then the second SPX was in a pan mode that went front to rear, front to rear. So here are these two devices are panning at whatever frequency we would determine by the length that we were from those stacks to get the same similar time interval. So what that amounted to, and then why the inputs of those two SPX 90s, that would give you the effect of sound swimming over your head, just swimming around you. I could take the three girls, beautiful girls and beautiful voices, and take their oohs and ahs on the ends of some songs and this and that, and put that into those two SPXs. And their voices would just seem to appear to just come out of the sky, moving as it went. It's a tremendous effect. It really sounded good. But this effect, as with other effects I was describing, you don't want to overuse them. This is something that you're kind of sitting there, you're just blown away with the composition of the song, and it's pretty much the way you know it. As far as it's just big now, very powerful. But you're at a point where these things take an effect to you, and you cannot overdo it. It ruins it. It's the effect of it happening for a musical moment, and then it's gone. And kind of builds a curiosity, and you're listening, wow, what was that? And that went that way, and that went that way. Now, there's been lots of shows of different sorts, I think, Cirque du Soleil shows and others that use immersive sound and sound traveling in a performance. But I think our concert was probably one of the biggest at the time using surround sound. I adapted to it very quickly. It seemed like in high school, even before I started as a sound engineer, I've always had studio equipment. My dad built guitars, so I always loved to play with equipment. I had a Marantz, I think it's called 2240, and that went back into 1966, 67, and it was a 4-channel receiver. It's when the first heard the word quad and quadraphonic, and so I played with that a lot. I had 4 big Ginseng speakers, 15s and a tweeter that sounded great as I remember them, and the 4 of them lined up. So again, I'm not new to surround sound. I really enjoy it. I appreciate it. If it's operated properly, it can be very effective. And Pink Floyd's material, their music material, fit that scope perfectly. So it was added a lot of fun. It kept added even more to the maneuverability, or what's the word I'm trying to think of, that we're mixing this thing. It was a constant mix as we play the consoles. You don't step back and listen. You don't walk around or somebody I've heard used to walk up in the balconies or something while his show is going to see how the coverage is up there. I've heard that, but no, I won't leave my console position. What I need to do is every beat there's something to adjust. That's the thing with live. It varies and pulls out. A lot of things contribute to that, but it just requires constant attention. So from the downbeat to the last beat, there was something moving and something going on. Just a pleasure to mix. So I'm going to bring up some diagrams soon, and I'll also bring up some of the other ways that we use that sound system and we learn from it in that rehearsal period. Now, I'll make another video talking about how we actually conducted rehearsals, how we all learned our parts of this very complex show. In 1987, I don't think there was anything out near that, and we were out all of 88 as well. So I'll bring you some more of that information here soon. We'll call this the Pink Floyd series, and I'll label them accordingly when I put them up on the YouTube channel. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate the time you come in to join me, and look for more of these Pink Floyd videos. I really appreciate it.